Team up. Who remembers Flight 93, 9/11, right? Yeah, let's roll, right? Let's go. Overwhelm the cockpit. Same thing for an active shooter situation. If there's 5 of you in a room, or 10 of us, or 20 of us, I would hope we all have the mindset now that we converge on that shooter. There's power in numbers. All right, yeah, you might get shot, and we're going to talk about that. But we definitely don't want to be a victim, all right? And if we can overwhelm that shooter and take him down ourselves, that's a good thing, okay? Hi, my favorite slide. Improvised weapons. What are some good improvised weapons? Fire extinguisher, that's a great one. Chairs. Car keys, absolutely. Yeah, pen. Everybody has one of the best ones right now. That's a pen. All right. Yeah, hydro flask. Can you imagine? Oh, that's going to hurt, right? Yeah, absolutely. Pen or a pencil. What else? Scissors. I know our parents said don't run with scissors. I'm giving you permission to run with scissors. Okay, if you hear shots going off, you grab your favorite pair of scissors and you run and you be ready to use them. All right? What's that?
Ant spray.
Ant spray. Yeah, that hurt. Yeah. There you go. Everything's a weapon. Purse. Yep. What I want to communicate is everything is a weapon. Everything. How could a shirt be a weapon? Yeah. I mean, as our law enforcement knows, most fights they end up on the ground, and it's a wrestling match, right? So if you have a shirt and you can use that shirt and wrap it around the shooter's neck, that's a weapon.
Pull their own shirt over them.
There you go. So I was talking with my wife about improvised weapons, because that's a normal conversation you should have with your spouse. Okay? All right? And so I was just, hey, honey, what would you use? She goes, I would use a pot of coffee. And I go, can I use that in my presentation? Yeah, and I love it. Think about it. I mean, if you're standing in the break room and you have a piping hot pot of coffee and the shooter walks in and you throw it in the shooter's face, that's going to hurt, right? And then whack him over the head with the coffee pot, right? Right? Which leads me nicely into OODA loop. And actually, every improvised weapon applies to the OODA loop. Does anybody know what OODA loop stands for? No? I know you guys do. It stands for, it's an acronym, of course, right? It was invented by a fighter pilot. All right? It stands for observe, orient, decide, act. All right? That's the decision-making process that we all go through every day, all day long, unconsciously. How does the OODA loop and a pot of coffee apply to an active shooter situation? Well, think about it. If I have that pot of coffee and I throw that hot pot of coffee in that shooter's face, I have just disrupted that shooter's OODA loop, right? Now the shooter has to reobserve, reorient, make a new decision, take a new action. What does that mean for you in an active shooter incident? Yeah, time. Exactly. It means time. It's 1 or 2 seconds. If you're standing next to that door, it's 1 or 2 seconds that you can get out that door, or 1 or 2 seconds to use another improvised weapon. Or if there's an opportunity to team up for somebody else to come and attack. Okay? This applies to everything. I mean, I heard purse, right? That'll disrupt your OODA loop. Fire extinguisher. Hit them with the fire extinguisher or just spray it at them, right? So lots of opportunities. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Now we're going to have some fun. If someone is shooting at you, keep moving. Okay? Make yourself as small as possible. Use distance to your advantage. I know I said I wasn't going to talk about Navy SEALs, but what do SEALs always say? They always say shoot and move, right? Shoot and move. It's hard to hit a moving target. So move. Always move. Be moving. Okay? If you can. All right? 21-foot rule. Can I get a volunteer that preferably has a pocket to put something in? Anybody? We're going to do a little demonstration. I promise it'll be fun. Yeah? All right. Cool. Give him a round of applause. All right. Stand right here for me and face this way. I've got to get this on the camera, so let's see. 1, 5, 6. Okay, so this is approximately 21 feet, okay? So what I'm going to do is I brought you a gun right here. You can put that in your, I don't have a holster for you, but just stick it in your pocket or whatever, yeah. Okay. I'm a little worried. I don't know if I picked the right guy. He looks like he's pretty. Okay, you ready? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try, when I say go, I'm going to try and charge you and stab you with my fake knife before you have time to draw your gun and return fire. I'm kind of nervous. He looks like he might be quick. Okay. All right. You ready? Go. Oh, he's too quick. Oh, man. Okay. Thank you. Give him a round of applause. I told you I picked the wrong person. No, thanks. I appreciate it. Okay. So what did I just demonstrate? There's something in law enforcement called the 21-foot rule. And what it is if I'm the officer and there's a suspect 21 feet away, all right, and I have my pistol in my holster, that suspect can close that distance and stab me with a knife before I have time to draw my weapon and return fire. They call it the 21-foot rule. How does that apply to an active shooter situation? Right. Well, it should be very empowering. All I want to get across is that you can close 21 feet really, really, really fast. All right, and if you have that favorite pair of scissors ready to go, you can close that distance and do some serious damage. Now, is the shooter going to have their gun in a holster? No, I understand that. But if the shooter's back is to you and you're behind them, by the time they swing around, pick you up, you can probably close that distance and do some damage. All right, same thing if they're reloading or whatever. All right? Just know you can close 21 feet very, very fast, and you can actually affect the outcome. All right? Does that make sense? FBI, I heard, I don't know if LT or any of you guys know, but they're thinking about possibly increasing it to 25 feet. I don't know if it's official yet, but just know you can close that distance quick. All right? Make sense? All right. I'm not calling on you again. Okay, quick story. Tim Varner. Tim is at the center of your picture. Chad Worm is on the left, Colin Shirley on the right. All real good friends of mine. We'll all work together. October 12, 2013. I had just arrested an individual and I was booking them into the city jail. Tim received a suspicious subject with a gun call a couple of blocks away from the city jail. No big deal, right? Everybody has guns in Texas. We get 2 or 3 of those a day. Didn't think much of it. Walking back to my patrol car, simultaneously Tim is making contact with this subject. As Tim makes contact, subject pulls out a gun and shoots Tim 4 times. All right, doesn't hit him once in his vest. Tim returns fire, hits the suspect several times. Tim turns and tries to run and take cover. He collapses on the sidewalk. Chad and Colin are showing up right as all this is happening. And then Colin on your right there, he calls out over the radio the words you never want to hear as a cop. Shots fired, officer down, officer down. So I get in my car, get there pretty quick. I'm the 4th or 5th guy there. You can imagine the scene, pretty chaotic. And Tim's laying down on the sidewalk. Again, you can imagine, we just go into triage mode. And I'm grabbing towels and doing our best to save his life. EMS gets there about 2 or 3 minutes, 3 minutes later, load him into the truck, and he's starting to lose consciousness. All right, and they take him away. And we all just kind of stand around and look at each other like, what just happened? All right, I had to go to the hospital about 30 minutes later to speak with the sergeant about some stuff that had happened. And I said, hey, Sarge, how's he doing? And he was very tight-lipped about it. It just didn't look good. So it was a long night. And didn't sleep much, get a phone call the next morning, Tim's alive. all right? Tim made it. He's alive today, okay? He's actually probably working right now. They give you, apparently, if you get shot 4 times, they give you day shift. They give you the good shift. So, why do I tell you that story? Because if you're shot, you're not dead. All right, you're not out of the fight. Now, can it happen that way? Can you get shot and just, it's a light switch and you'd be dead right there? Absolutely. I don't want to mislead you. It can happen that way. And I think, unfortunately, baggage claim in Florida, I think that happened to a few people. But more often than not, you have a lot of life left in you. Tim got shot 4 times. He lost a ton of blood, and he made it. Now, granted, he had help there, right? But you still have a lot of life. Don't give up. You don't give up until you just don't know anymore, until you're unconscious and you just don't know, all right? Don't get shot in the arm and just fall over and die. Don't do that. There's no reason for it. The body's amazing. It can fight or flight. It'll shut down certain parts of your body, keep you alive, okay? So, does that make sense? If you're shot, you're not dead. Hollywood always, there you go, Jason Bourne. Everybody he's chased, they just fall over and they die, right? Again, it can happen that way, but not all the time. 80% of the targets on the body are non-fatal. You get to a hospital relatively quickly, you got a pretty good chance, okay? The suspect lived too, by the way. And we were taking care of Tim. We took care of him too. But everybody, I think the suspect was hit 3 times, Tim was hit 4 times, and everybody lived. So, pretty amazing. Okay, so you heard me talked about the librarian not knowing what to do. Columbine revolutionized the way law enforcement responds to active shooter incidents. What did law enforcement do? I know these guys know, but what did law enforcement do at Columbine? Anybody know?
They evacuate all the rooms.
Eventually.
They stayed away, right?
They stayed away.
Yeah. It was like a
Right.
standoff.
Exactly. They got the call. They went code 3, lights and sirens, got there really quick, got the big guns out, ready to go, and they set up a perimeter, right? And they treated it like a hostage negotiation type situation. Well, meanwhile, what was going on inside?
Slaughter.
Right. So, again, this revolutionized how law enforcement responds. Now, here's what's going to happen. All right? And this is actually evolving as a result of San Bernardino and other incidents, okay? But generally speaking, the first 4 officers to show up on scene. Doesn't matter if they're a lieutenant, doesn't matter if they're SWAT, detective, regular patrol officer, off duty. First 4, they're the contact team. They're going in, okay? Their only purpose is to make entry into that building, locate that shooter, take the shooter out, neutralize the threat, all right? Why is that important for you? Because if you're shot in the arm and you're laying down here and you're saying help and they just blow right past you and they don't help you, I'm sorry to tell you, they're not there to help you right then. They have one purpose in life, one job to do at that moment in time, and that's to find that shooter and eliminate the threat. The good news is that there's going to be subsequent groups of 4 officers. They're the rescue teams, all right? And they're going to get you out. But you need to be aware of that, okay? What you need to take away from this is that gone are the days where law enforcement is just going to stand out on a perimeter. They're coming in, all right? They're coming and they're going to help you, all right? Does that make sense? When I say this is even evolving, San Bernardino, if you've listened to the tapes, they were waiting on the 3rd and 4th officer for a while, all right? And so now there's talk within the law enforcement community, maybe just the first 2 officers that show up on scene, they're going in, okay? Just know they're not standing outside anymore. They're coming in, all right? There you go. There's a cool picture. Okay, officers don't know who you are. Drop whatever you're carrying. I don't care if you have a brand new iPhone 7 Plus, version 100. Drop it, okay? If you shatter your screen, you shatter your screen. We'll get you a new one, all right? You don't want an officer to mistake this for a gun, all right? Show them your hands, all right? Who watches Cops? Yeah, everybody watches Cops. Come on. What are cops always telling people? Show me your hands. Yeah, take your hands out of your pockets, right? Take your hands out of your pockets. Take them out of your pockets or I'm going to put you in handcuffs, right? Because there's a saying in the business that eyes, they don't kill people. Hands kill people. So officers are trained to look for the hands. So show them your hands, drop whatever you have, all right? It says obey all commands. They're going to yell at you. They still love you. All right? Right, guys? Yes. All right? Don't take offense to it. They are there to do a job. They're there to give orders, and you're there to receive orders. All right? They're trying to get you out. All right? So obey all commands. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, we're going to have some more fun. Since we're seeing more and more bombs, IEDs, can I get 2 volunteers? All right, not you. All right. One more. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Give them a round of applause. All right, well, let's set it up here. I want you to start right here. Okay, just side by side, face this way. You can come down here. Just stand right next to her. Okay, so this is a long hallway. All right, this is not a door, by the way. It's just there's no doors. Just a long hallway. You are in run escape mode. You thought that you heard shots from this side of the building, so you're running down this hallway this way. Unbeknownst to you, you're going to run into me, and I'm the shooter. All right? I'm going to do something, and I just want you to react how you might react. Does that make sense? Okay. This is all training, by the way. So I got to get set up here. And the word to start will just be go, okay? So 1 second. I need this. Am I making them nervous? Okay. All right, so when I say go, you're going to be walking. You don't have to actually run, but you just start walking this way, okay? Go. I got a bomb. Okay. Good job. Wow, they really got into it. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you okay?
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay. We don't need a claim. That was awesome. Good job. Man, you guys really, that was great. Okay. That was great. Thank you for your participation. So let me draw you something real quick. All right. So, go like this. Okay. So, here we go. They're running this way, okay? They thought they heard gunfire down here, and then they run into me, the shooter. I point a gun at them, and I say, I have a bomb. So they're coming down here, and I throw the bomb at them. What do you think 99, it's kind of tight up here. You didn't have very many options. What do you think 99.9% of the people do? Yeah, they turn and they go this way, and what do? Run into the bomb. They run with the bomb, and they blow themselves up. Okay? That's what I did. What should they do? Run towards. They should actually, run towards the shooter, which is so counterinstinctual, it's hard to even wrap your mind around that, right? But what have we learned so far? We've learned you can close 21 feet really, really fast. We've learned about improvised weapons. Okay, hopefully you have that pair of scissors ready to go. We've learned if you're shot, you're not dead. All right, so they're not good. They're not good odds, right? I don't know if we have any poker players. It's probably like a 2-7 offsuit, right? But you definitely don't want to run with the bomb. All right? When I went through this training, trust me, we all do it. I turned and ran and blew myself up like 10 times. All right? But why do we call it Bomb Go? Because when I went through the training, we identify the bomb, and then we say go towards the shooter. That's why we call it Bomb Go. All right? Why am I showing you this? Well, first reason is we are seeing more and more IEDs and bombs. So just something to be aware of. There's lots of things like this. All right? This is just to kind of get the juices flowing. You have to think a little bit outside of the box, a little bit counterinstinctual to survive these things sometimes. And this is one example. Okay? Does that make sense? You guys were great. That was good. That was fun. I actually hit a guy once. I forget what I think I had like a Lego from my son's. And he was coming at me and I threw it, wham, right in his head. Yeah. It was, oops. Okay. Since we're seeing more and more bombs, let's just take a look at what a few bombs look like so you're aware, okay, of what's out there. This picture on the right, that's from Columbine. It didn't go off, obviously, but if you see anything like that, I would go the other way. That's what a pipe bomb looks like. San Bernardino, I think, well, they left 2 pipe bombs in a backpack in the conference room. Luckily, they didn't. They were trying to, you saw this, Margie, where they were trying to drive to each checkpoint, and I think they were trying to get close enough to remote detonate them. They never did, which was, it was amazing, I mean, thankfully. But, and I think they had a total of like 8 or 10 pipe bombs, either in process or done. So it's out there, all right? But that's what they look like. What's this stuff?
Fertilizer.
Where was this used? Oklahoma City, yeah, ANFO, ammonium nitrate fuel oil. So if you see bags of that with det cord, that would be a red flag. All right? See something, say something. Not sure why you'd see that, but that's what it looks like. Tannerite, what's this for? Anybody ever seen this? Yeah, this, you can order this stuff through the mail. And the only reason this exists is for you and your buddies or girlfriends or whatever. You get a brand new gun and you order some of this stuff and you take it to the range and you set it out there about 100 meters. You take your rifle and you say, check this out. And you go, bam, and it goes, bam, and everybody goes, oh man, cool. That's why Tannerite exists, okay? But you heard me say that you can order this through the mail. And it doesn't take long to accumulate a pretty good amount. The dangerous stuff about this is that it's super stable. I mean, it requires a high shock, like a bullet or something, to set it off, okay? I'm going to show you what 30 pounds of this will do to a Ford Bronco. It's pretty amazing.
30 pounds would be about how many cans?
I don't know how many cans. You have any idea? Yeah, I would say like 10 to 15 cans. Yeah. I don't have any. That's why.
I just saw on YouTube today.
Yeah. We got a slow-mo coming up. Bam. So that's Tannerite. So I'm not trying to scare y'all. See, there it was. Came out. Not trying to scare you. Okay, I'm just trying to make you aware of what's out there. Uh-huh.
If this comes in the mail, is that going to send out a red flag?
Potentially.
If I called and ordered, hey, can you send me 4 cans?
Just you ordering it for your own purposes.
Right.
Probably won't set off.
Take out to the desert and
Yeah, but if you're
friends.
right, that's fine. But the reason I show you this is if you see a student with a backpack and walking around Long Beach City College and you see a can of Tannerite, I'm just letting you know what's out there, okay? So if you're going to the shooting range and you're going from your house to the shooting range and you have your 4 cans, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's just, if you see this where it's not supposed to belong, then that's what would raise some suspicion.
I just didn't know if like ordering that, online, because you always see like after shooters.
Oh,
they
yeah.
go in and they get their computers and they start going through to figure out what they bought and where they bought it and all that stuff. It's like,
I don't think just ordering it would set off a red flag. I think there.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The FBI, excuse me.
Yeah, no. At least so far. Yeah.
I'll come see you when they knock on my door.
I know. Oh man, I'm in trouble. Dean said that I could do this.
Just to hang out with the girls.
Yeah. Okay, so bombs. Distance and cover goes without saying, equals survival. Okay, if you can you need to get as far away as you can. Okay, leave the area immediately. Take a mental snapshot. That's huge. If you're in run mode and you're running this way, and you see a pipe bomb, okay, take a mental snapshot. Keep running, and when you get to a safe location or what you perceive to be a safe location, what are you going to do? You're going to make the call, right? And you're going to relay that information to dispatch. Say, hey, I think it looked like a pipe bomb near room 1A. Not sure, but there you go. All right? So, mental snapshot. Radio frequencies, RF, can potentially trigger bomb blasts. These guys know when you go to a suspicious package, always tell dispatch, going out of radio contact, right? Because it could potentially set off that bomb. Now, if you're in run mode and you see a pipe bomb, am I saying that you need to stop in your tracks and turn off your cell phone? No. Keep running fast, all right? The only time I would advise you to do that is if you have pretty good information that there's a pipe bomb or something right outside the door and you're pinned down and you can't get out for whatever reason, probably not a bad idea to turn off your phone, okay? If you can think about it, because it could potentially set it off, all right? Just food for thought. Just get the juices flowing here, okay? Pepper spray. You might run into that. Has anybody ever been pepper sprayed? Yeah. Worst day of my life. Yeah. Horrible. OC gas. This is OC gas, okay? What I want to tell you with this, even though it was the worst day of our lives, he's alive, all right? He made it. He fought through it. I'm here today. You can fight through this stuff. It will be probably the most uncomfortable that you've ever been, but just know it's not a death sentence, okay, if that happens, all right? You can fight through it, all right? OC gas, you might see. I actually rather be tased than pepper sprayed. Do you agree?
Oh, yeah, because it's over in 5 seconds.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Is it legal to carry pepper spray?
Not for your personal sake. I think there is a. That's a good question, because that came up in a recent training, and I think on a school campus, I think there is some legislation or that you can't carry pepper spray. I'd have to look into that though and let you know for sure. But I know, like if you're out at the mall, if you're, can you?
There's a law, you can't carry it on school campus.
Right. So.
Any public entity or building, can't
But you guys are supposed to carry them.
We're not going to stop you.
Yeah. I actually had a chief, he sat in one of these trainings and said the same thing, you can't carry it on campus. And he goes, but off the record, we're not going to stop you, type of deal. So, but yeah, I mean, letter of the law, yeah, you can't have it. But yeah, if you're out at the mall, if you're anywhere else, you can carry pepper spray. Yeah, and they come in, like you said, the little cute things. Yeah. Smoke. If you see smoke, red, yellow, green smoke, chances are it's just smoke. Okay? I don't know. I mean, I can't say for sure, obviously, but how could smoke actually help you? Concealment. Yeah. So if there's a bunch of smoke in a room or in a quad, you could use that to your advantage. You could, be concealed as you run and try and escape. All right? Okay. We got one more video to watch. It's about 2 minutes long. As you watch this, it takes place in a school boardroom. As you watch this, based off of some of the things we've talked about, the tactics and stuff, just think about how you might respond either the same way or differently. Okay? And then we'll talk about it.
The motive behind a shooting at a Florida school board meeting remains a mystery. I want to warn you, some of the video here is very graphic. The gunman began yesterday by spray painting a red V on the wall. Then 56-year-old Clay Duke pulled out a handgun. He told everyone to leave except for 5 men on the Bay City School Board. Duke tells the board his wife had been fired from the district and complains about a tax hike. The drama was captured by television cameras. Please don't. Please. Duke fired several shots, but somehow hit nobody. It was Superintendent Bill Husfeld who tried to persuade Duke to put his gun down. This morning, Husfeld told Harry it was clear this was not going to end well.
There's no doubt looking at his eyes, there was going to be, somebody was going to be killed, he made it very clear that he wanted to kill me and the rest of us in there, and so I don't think he was trying to miss.
Well, after Duke opened fire, a security guard fired back, wounding Duke. Duke fell to the floor and fatally shot himself.
All right.
Security guard had an assault rifle? Yeah.
Well, I don't think he was just a security guard. but-
Okay.
What did you all see? Was there an opportunity to, what did you see? First impressions. There's no right or wrong answer.
I think there was, maybe the last person could have run. They were in shock, and I think let shock take over. I'm not saying that I probably would react the same way, but knowing what I know now, but there might have been, because I know with boardrooms, usually the doors might be behind you,
Right.
and maybe the last person could have run, but crawled out,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
would have definitely been
Yeah.
concealment, and I don't think he would have
Right. Yeah, I think
bothered with the person.
there was opportunity
running
for
out.
people to get out. What was the first red flag?
Yeah,
Yeah, you think?
that should have been, yeah,
That would be a ding, ding, ding.
out of here.
Yeah. Good observation. Was there an opportunity to utilize 21-foot rule maybe? Yeah. I think he had his back to some of those people on the board, not paying attention.
Yeah.
If they had an improvised weapon, right? I hate to say it, but what did the superintendent, what was his mentality?
Yeah.
Right? And it worked out for him, okay? But this is just me. If I'm the superintendent, I'm not going to bank on the fact that you're a bad shot from right there. That's just, if it's me, I'm coming over the table at you. It worked out for him, but, typically, you don't miss from 3 feet.
Could have just started throwing stuff at him too.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
maybe run.
OODA loop, right? So a lot of opportunity to utilize the OODA loop and start throwing stuff at them, team up, right? So there's a lot of different ways it could have gone. I just show that to you to get you thinking, okay? What I'll leave you with is if somebody was to walk in to this room right now with a gun, what's your plan? Okay, what's your mindset? What's your mentality? What are you gonna hide underneath the table? Where are your exit routes? What are you going to use as an improvised weapon? You need to think about this stuff. You don't need to dwell on it. Okay? When you go back to your workspace, your cubicle, your classroom, whatever, come up with your plan. All right? Know your exit routes. Your exit routes. Minimum 2. All right? Know where you might hide. Okay? And it's going to be different for everybody here. Know what you're going to use as an improvised weapon. Start to formulate that plan. Because like I said in the very beginning, that first 1 or 2 seconds, it matters. And you don't want to be figuring that stuff out when it happens. Okay? Does that make sense? I hope this was helpful. I really appreciate your time. If we have questions, I can field them.
This was just more of a comment. I really appreciate this a lot, so
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, you got it.
In my class, we read the book Columbine by Dave Cullen, and so we've we've talked about scenarios in class,
Yeah.
like, you know, what are we gonna do, or what would we do? And
Yeah.
I think in addition to this, and because of reading that book, one of the classes I teach in is pretty old school, so it's just the, you know, once you open it, it's open.
Right,
But I've
right.
found myself that when I open the door in the morning, I open it, lock it, after a few minutes, door shuts behind me.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the back door that we have in that room, I never open, so, but I really appreciate you
Yeah,
coming
my
and
pleasure. Yeah, thank you.
helping us out.
Yeah, you got it. Anything else? No? Did I scare everybody?
I just have a question about doors. Now, we have two glass doors.
Mm-hmm.
How would you block something like that?
How would you block a glass door?
Yeah. Just put stuff on it?
Yeah, I'd have to see it, but you'd have to probably get a little bit resourceful. So if you have cabinets or file cabinets or whatever, that's probably, in that situation, that's your best bet. Yeah. I mean, I don't think they're going to start installing bulletproof glass, so, yeah. Yep. Uh-huh.
I've seen a number of situations, I mean, starting with the bomb threat that was here a number of years ago.
Uh-huh.
But to just give you one situation that I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
Is 3 years ago, I had a student who was having a psychotic break. He was apparently schizophrenic.
Uh-huh.
And so he started sending emails that were really pretty fraught, pretty off the rails.
Yeah, yeah.
And one of them said that his kids wouldn't live to see age 21. So needless to say, I and his English instructor did.
Right.
To administration right after flagpole. And he didn't want to talk to them.
Right.
And so their response was, we can't do anything because you won't talk to us. And
Yeah.
they continued to send, seemingly psychotic emails to me.
Yeah.
And they stopped responding to me.
Okay.
So he wasn't such that I felt like I needed to call the police. So fast forward
Uh-huh.
this past spring, he did send death threats to 4 of us. And in one of those, I take it back, he didn't send them to us, he put them on websites.
Uh-huh.
In one of those, he said he regretted not killing his kids, which answers my question, what he meant about his kids not living to age 21. So what do I do if that happens? And just to add to that, when I mentioned it, that another of my colleagues was on the death threat list to my department
Yeah.
chair, he got confused because there were so many of us who've had death threats. He thought it was the other Jim.
Yeah, yeah.
Dark humor, sorry.
No.
So what do I do when that happens? It's not like I'm going to call the police on this guy.
But-
But if the
yeah.
administration is not
No, so here, and there's one video I didn't show you, but it's a good point, and that's what I mean. You had a gut feeling, right? You had,
I didn't have a gut
well,
feeling.
but no.
Obvious that he was
Well, no, I know that.
And he was a 2-time ex-con.
Right, so-
One of those was for gun violence.
so you-
It wasn't a gut feeling. It was very obvious something was really, really wrong.
Right, absolutely.
I didn't get the support I needed, but I didn't, at the time, I didn't think I should call the police. I mean, I guess now I would.
I would absolutely want. So here's the deal. It's your job. It's your job. When I said you had a gut feeling, you did. You had evidence too. You had a lot going, and yeah, I would say it's your job to report that to the police. Okay. Now it's their job to investigate it, follow up on it, determine if there's a crime. All right. But when I say, if you have that gut, if something's off, okay, do your due diligence, and you don't have to confront that kid. You don't have to do anything else. The only job you have is to call the police department and say, hey, here's the facts. I have, there's this email, this post, and I don't know, I'm not a cop. I don't know if there's a crime here. That's their job. So I would just say, yeah, I would definitely report that, 100%.
May I address that?
Uh-huh.
I'm Jeff Lieberman. I'm a lieutenant. I'm responsible for police services here at Long Beach City College. I started in November. So some of you I've met, maybe most of you I haven't. I hope to see you around campus. But I hear this refrain over and over again. I thought something was a little suspicious, but I just didn't want to bother you. I didn't want to call the police. The district pays an enormous amount of money to contract the police department to provide services. Those of you that live and work and spend money in Long Beach spend an enormous amount of money to support the police department. You deserve the best service possible. No call is too small for us. So don't ever think that you're bothering us. That's what we're here for. We want to serve. We need this information. And most importantly, And, you know, if you take a broad perspective on this, you provide us the legal justification to be able to talk to people. You know, we work around
Very true.
the college or the city, and, you know, we get to know the people, but most of the time, you know, if somebody doesn't want to speak with us, they can walk away. The mere fact that you pick up and call the police and provide us specific information gives us legal justification to be able to stop somebody and detain them and get to the bottom of an issue. So that information for us is critical for us to do our jobs. And when we talk to these people, they might not be a threat now, but we take their names, their addresses, their phone numbers, you know, we collect that data and we keep it, and you could be providing us valuable information that can later be used to find the person when they do finally snap or there's a suspect in a crime. So you're a critical part of the criminal justice system, and that applies on campus as well. Please, please call us. We're here for you. We're here 24/7, 365. And it's our job and my job ultimately being responsible for this to keep everybody here safe. Students, faculty, staff, neighbors. And I take it very seriously. All of us take it very seriously. So please, please, please call us, and we'll be there for you. And we bring in not only do we investigate the crime, but we also have untold resources for mental illness, for counseling, public-private resources that we can refer these people to if it doesn't rise to the level of a crime. We work very closely with the administration, with a group that looks at potential threatening situations on campus where we all put our heads together and kind of determine the best course of action. But if we don't know about it, there's nothing we can do about it. So even if you report it to the administration and you don't feel comfortable calling the police, follow up with a call to us, because we want to make sure that we deconflict and we're all on the same sheet of music. You know, the more communication we have, the more reporting mechanisms, the safer we can all be. Because ultimately, safety is everybody's responsibility here. It's yours, it's mine, it's the administration's. So we're all in this together. But please include us on the front end, because we bring a lot of tools and training and experience and resources and legal authority to be able to protect you.
Well said. Thank you. That's right on. Thanks, LT. That's why he's at where he's at. He's exactly right.
Isn't it better for them to be able to kick it back and say, oh, it wasn't a big deal?
Yeah.
Than to say, oh my God, you know, he's taken out 5 people.
Right.
Because we didn't
Right.
do anything.
And even if it's not a crime, I mean, even if it's just if they follow it up and it's an incident report, at least it's documented. And he talked about legal justification, probable cause, all that stuff that they can use now. They can use that to go say, hey, I'm here to talk to you, and this is why. All right? That's a big, I'm glad you talked about that. That's huge. So always, yeah. Good to go?
Yeah, in the future, I would have gone straight that route.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a learning opportunity. There are many learning
We're all learning. We're all learning. I mean, this is why we're doing this training. We're all learning how to, this is new. I mean, it's evolving, you know? So, anything else? Good to go? All right, it's lunchtime, right? All right, thank you all. Appreciate it.